Coming up on the second hour of American Sunrise, Republican Matt Van Epps defeats Democratic rival Afton Ben in Tennessee. But how much of a victory was it really? We'll have analysis on what should have been a slam dunk for the GOP in just a moment. Plus, the Trump administration is actively re-examining all Afghan nationals who entered the United States during former President Joe Biden's term in office. This comes in response to the tragic killings of a National Guard member last week. We'll have analysis on the move in a moment. And later, we're continuing our special coverage of the Department of War's Media Day, now on its third day. We'll be checking in with RAV reporters on the ground later this hour. Those stories and more as the second hour of American Sunrise starts right now.
Good morning, America.
Welcome to American Sunrise.
Whether it's culture,
We have breaking news to share with you.
politics,
President Trump is joining us live now from Florida.
we've got you covered.
This is what it looks like to be a patriot.
We have to protect the American family.
The American dream is still alive.
I'm David Brody.
I'm Terrence.
And I'm Dr. Gina.
Welcome back to the second hour of American Sunrise. So good to have you along on this Wednesday morning. We appreciate you being here with us. I'm Terrence Bates coming to you from our Denver newsroom. Let's bring in Dr. Gina. She is in West Palm, as is Emily Finn. Both of them getting a chance to hang out together, and I'm just lonely old me here in our Denver newsroom. David Brody, by the way, will be back with us shortly, so stay tuned for that. Ladies, good morning. Always a pleasure seeing both of you bright and early.
Good morning, Terrence. Every time I see you, I just want to go snow skiing.
Well, you can definitely do that right now here in Colorado. We are under a bit of a blanket of snow early this morning. So typically I'm up about 3:30 in the morning or so working. When it snows, I typically get up a couple of hours early just in case it's so bad that I need to give myself a little extra time. So I was up at 1:30 this morning. And at that time, it wasn't too bad, but it's supposed to snow all day long. So please, come on, Dr. Gina. Come on. The water's good. Come on, get in and get some of this snow.
Terrence, I think we got to invite you down to West Palm. Get you out of that snow. You need a little break from the cold.
Oh, from your lips to God's ears.
I was going to say we could trade studios for a week. We'll see what Zen thinks about that.
I'll take that. Hey, Zen, if you're listening, hook your boy up. Send me down to Florida. Send Dr. Gina up here. She can even stay at my house. You don't even have to get her a hotel. She can stay at my house. I would happily trade digs with her. Anyway, guys, let's get to a couple of headlines this morning. The Fed's reportedly preparing for what's being described as a targeted immigration enforcement operation in Minnesota. The targets would primarily be Somali immigrants who are living in the United States illegally. This particular area, by the way, is home to the nation's largest Somali population.
I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you. Okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country.
Meantime, the 29-year-old Afghan national accused of killing one National Guardsman and leaving another fighting for his life in the hospital will remain in jail without bond. He made his first court appearance from the hospital on Tuesday. The accused killer faces 4 criminal counts, including first-degree murder and assault with the intent to kill while armed. Prosecutors say the suspect traveled to the nation's capital from Washington state with the intention of carrying out that deadly attack. By the way, the Afghanistan and Somalia are on the list of about 19 non-European countries from which the Trump administration is pausing all immigration applications. That includes green card and U.S. citizenship processing. The administration cites national security and public safety concerns. Other countries on that list include Haiti, Eritrea, Iran, and Libya. That's a quick check of your headlines. Now let's get a quick check of your forecast with WeatherNation meteorologist Tracy Anthony. Also there at the bottom of your screen, you see the QR code. You can scan that and join our friends over at WeatherNation. So one of my favorite times of the show, Tracy, or I'm sorry, TT, touchscreen Tracy, it's time for our hometown forecast. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, and Diane on Getter was wondering if her town was going to be dealing with some snow. And Diane, you look clear through the rest of the work week, but Friday night into Saturday, you do have some moisture working through with the system, and it's going to be kind of a rain-snow mix. So with overnight lows down below that freezing point, that's going to be kind of that fine line of when it changes over from snow to rain. So we've got a couple other hometown forecasts. Take you out to Minneapolis. This is Scotty B, 53 on Rumble. Look at this forecast. Overnight temperatures dropping down to 6 below. Now, wind chill values are going to be even colder. I'm talking 20, 30 below wind chill values. So you can get frostbite in a matter of 15 minutes with wind chill values that low. And then take you down, warm things up a little bit. Jacksonville, Florida. This from Flashosaurus on Getter. You are staying pretty dry, but you do have a system that's rolling on through that's going to knock on your doorstep for the weekend, but some much needed rain for the Florida panhandle. So that's where things are staying a little on the warmer side, but the rest of the lower 48 definitely feeling those December feels, and some of the wind chills at 30 below. Ugh, it just makes me cringe thinking about it. Terrence.
All right, Tracy, we appreciate it. We'll be checking back with you tomorrow if I'm able to dig myself out of the snow here in Denver.
You can make it.
Always good to see you, Tracy.
Good luck.
I can do it. Yes, you can do it. Once again, folks, there at the bottom of your screen, you see that QR code. Go ahead and scan it and join our friends over at WeatherNation. We, of course, want to have you part of the family as well. Well, folks, Republicans are going to continue to hold on to a vacant congressional seat in Tennessee. This after GOP nominee Matt Van Epps emerged victorious last night in a special election for that seat. The vote was in Tennessee's 7th congressional district, which is an area President Trump carried by 22 points last year. However, Van Epps just edged to victory with about a 9-point win last night. Joining us now with analysis is Congressman Pete Sessions. Congressman, good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, and good morning to Denver, too.
Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate it. It's a bit chilly, but it is a good morning. So I'm curious to get your perspective on last night's special election. What do you think it prescribes for the midterms? Because let's just be honest, that's the big pot. That's what we're all looking forward to.
Well, in fact, that is the prize that we need to be focused on, and we're now just less than a year away from that. But the occurrences or the success of this timing of this race was directly after the holidays. It was one in which I think that there are mixed messages going on, not just in Washington, but around the country. I was pleased with the victory. I'll be quite blunt, to win by 9 points, even though perhaps Donald Trump won by 22. You have to see that this is a victory for not only the president, but a victory for Republicans in the House. The matchup that we will have all across this country, every single congressional race, will be about a series of items that I believe are in Republicans' advantage. First of all, we have to deal with the debt issue, and Democrats are simply still on record of wanting to spend more money. Secondly, we want government employees to come back to work. They want government employees to continue staying at home, drawing benefits and a paycheck. We've got to make sure that we sell these two items. Number 3, healthcare. Republicans have a better plan, which I believe we're going to get to. And that is, we're going to make sure that the some 120 million people who are self-employed, perhaps real estate agents, perhaps small business owners, will have a better shot at buying not only health care, but affording it. These plans are materializing right before our eyes. We do have to deliver this to make sure that we are talking about health care. And lastly, the success of this nation to keep us safe. And all these quadrants, all these issues are on the Republican side. So I'm really not worried about winning next year. I'm worried about our performance to sell to the American people, just like our candidate in Tennessee did. We have better ideas to make America safe, and for people just like you in Tennessee.
Well, like they say, one goes to Washington, D.C., and one goes home. So winning is still winning, even if the margin could have been bigger. Congressman, turning now to the fallout from the tragic National Guard shooting last week. In response to the shooting, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt announced the Trump administration is actively re-examining all Afghan nationals who were let into the country under Biden's watch. Is this the start of a greater push for new immigration policy, in your opinion?
No, I think that Secretary Rubio really used words that I agree with. I watched him yesterday, and I've been using these words also. I think this was a question about people who came to this country who absolutely opposed the Taliban, and that's why they worked with our intel and military people in Afghanistan. They came here for a new life. But that also, a part of that is the American dream. And the American dream is a struggle. The American dream is achievable and it is successful. And it brings out the better part of individuals and families to know that they're in the greatest country in the world. But it does not mean instant success. And over these past few years, I think that these people were allowed to come to this country, given a green light, given what they would need. But I don't know what the follow-up is to make sure that their viewpoint of their success, they're becoming a part of where they are, is successful. It is not unusual for Somalia people to go to where Somalia people are. It is not an uncomfortable circumstance to think that Afghans would go where more people who are like them from Afghanistan. They are becoming radicalized in this country. And we need to pay attention to that. We need to make sure that we have an idea of those conditions. And I think that there's been a rush to go and get people who are in this country illegally out rather than to focus on people who did come, who we need to pay attention to. So I'm proud of not just the president, Marco Rubio, but I'm proud to say we've got to go back and relook at this, but we've got to stop the movement that they were allowed to have with the green cards or immigration to this country. So I think it's the right thing to halt it.
Yeah, an investigation certainly needs to continue into this, Congressman. We also want to get your reaction to President Trump's recent comments on paper ballots. In a Truth Social post, the president said, "Great news. Dallas County, Texas just went to all paper ballots. Many others are following suit, more accurate, totally secure with watermark paper, faster, and only 9% of the cost. All Republican governors should mandatorily do this, save money and freedom, lead the Democrats out of their corrupt ways." President DJT. I know President Trump's a great businessman, but I am sold. I mean, this sounds like it's a better option for all states across America, Congressman.
Well, the good part is that Republicans began seeing not just the things that we disagreed with during COVID and during what might be called 2018, but we have seen a continued reliance by the Democratic Party off voter rolls of hundreds of and thousands of people who had died. We still have what's called the motor voter law that is in place that keeps millions of people on these rolls. This was when Bill Clinton was president. We've got to go to every ballot is assured of who it came from and what it is for. And the integrity of the ballot system deals with people's desire to want to come vote. So I applaud the president for doing what he's doing. Good ideas is what the Republican Party is about, and the integrity of the ballot box is critical for people to want to believe that their vote matters.
Congressman, 20 seconds. I just want to pop this in there. What's happening on the outstanding appropriation bills? And are you expecting that there will be government funding before the January 30th deadline, or are we going to be back up against the shutdown?
Well, we're up against the shutdown, and I think that people, Republican leaders understand this, and that's why we're working fervently. Next, we have to message what the answer is. Expect us to do it.
All right. Your lips to God's ears. We hope it does happen. Thanks so much, Congressman. Always good to see you. Congressman Pete Sessions joining us this morning. Thank you. Coming up, a new clash over immigration enforcement. The Homeland Security Department says New York is releasing thousands of criminal non-citizens back onto city streets. We have the details for you next.